good crisp practice and a lot of energy and enthusiasm, good tempo, got a lot done, and so it was a good day for us. I think having this kind of weather helps a little bit. You know, at this time of the spring ball, when you've had, what, 9 practices, and they might be dragging a little bit because we've been working them pretty hard. So it was a good day. Good day. So.
Any update on Patrick Larimore?
He has a concussion, and we're just going to be very, very sensitive to it. And other than that, he's not cleared yet. So could be a while. You know, I'm not sure if he's out for a day or a week or the whole spring, but you know, I think, like I've said many times, you don't mess around with head injuries. So his symptoms haven't cleared yet, so he's not out here yet. You know, you saw Aaron Walsh was out here doing some things, so his symptoms had cleared to the point where he was okay to do, you know, some physical activity, but Pat wouldn't. Pat's not there yet, so you just got to be careful. You got to be really careful with those things, man. Really careful. So.
Practice for the first half, and then you take the second half practice off? Or?
Yeah, he's been nursing a groin, nothing that's held him out of any practice at all. And he's running a little crossing route in what we call routes versus air period, and he just kind of turned weird, and it pulled a little bit, and you know, he's a pretty tough kid, man. He's been fighting through it, but we just pulled him out. I don't want to, you know, we've got a lot of guys down right now, and I'd like him to be able to finish the spring, so it's just kind of cautionary.
What are you seeing on your defensive line that you kind of makes you feel optimistic?
Well, I really like them. I think we've got outstanding depth. I think, and that's without the addition of Ellis yet. You know, I think we've got about 8 guys that I think are legitimate players at this level, and a couple that are legitimate players at the next level. You know, I think that we're going to have a nice rotation, both at end, at nose tackle, to be able to keep guys fresh, play the run well, be sturdy against the run, get after the passer. To me, right now, it's probably the strength of our football team is our defensive line. And I think Angus is just doing a tremendous job coaching them. You know, they're technically sound. They play with discipline, with leverage. They're just doing a heck of a job. So it's you know, when you're a defensive guy, and you know the old cliche, it all starts up front. I mean, it does. When you got a defensive line like that, it makes you feel good. So.
With Holmes, has anything surprised you about the fall or the spring that he's having?
Well, I mean, I only say no because I've never coached him before. You know, so he is what I've seen. That's all I know. So to say that anyone surprised me, you know, I can't say that. I can tell you this: I like what I see. We like what we see. He's doing a good job, especially for a guy that's making a position change like he is. He's so willing to do anything you ask. He's as hard a worker as you'll find. He's got a great attitude. He studies the game. He's smart. He's, you know, he wants to be a good player. And so all those things kind of manifest themselves in good practice out here. So it doesn't surprise me, but it's encouraging, that's for sure.
After Anthony Jefferson,
you know what? Anthony every day gets a little bit better. He gets a little bit better every day. You know, he's fought through some injuries. You guys know better about that than I do. You know, I can't judge him on anything other than what I've seen. And every day I feel a little bit better about Anthony. You know what I mean? He's becoming a legitimate player to me. I think he's tough. I think he's aggressive. I think he's physical. I think he's playing with more confidence now because he probably feels better. He's made some plays. His effort is really good. You know, at the start of the spring, I wasn't sure if he was going to buy in, and then he did. And you just see him playing better and better every day, and that's an encouraging thing for us.
Why weren't you sure he was going to buy in at the beginning?
Just, you know, just some indicators that I'd seen in the winter where I just wasn't sure. But I think really what it was, Chris, was that he was not feeling good. You know what I mean? He wasn't feeling healthy. And I didn't know him. You know, I didn't know the kid. And so, you know, my initial perception was, this guy's, you know, kind of dour. But it was his injury. You know, he wasn't feeling good. And he's feeling better now, and his spirit is picked up. And it's fun to see, you know. I mean, he's like, he walks around every once in a while with a smile on his face, you know. And that's good to see. I like him.
Defensive guys to smile?
Yeah, I like everyone to smile. Yeah, except you.
Well, you're doing a good job.
No, I tell you what, I've been really impressed with him. I really have. You know, I don't know where he's going to end up, but he does a good job.
So
The defensive line's the strongest part of the team. Where's the offensive line right now?
We're looking for depth and consistency there. You know, I'd be lying if I, said that I was satisfied with where we are from a talent standpoint, from a depth standpoint. But I think we've got some guys here that are really willing. They work hard. I think that they'll develop into really good players. They're just young. I think that Torian White has a chance to be special. I mean, really a special football player. He's built like you want an offensive tackle to be built. He just needs to develop and mature and play games and get stronger and do those types of things. I think that Xavier, is every day knocks a little bit more rust off. He's still got those great feet. Jeff Bach, I think, is a really sturdy player, a really solid player. Cheech is coming along. Cheech is funny. He doesn't. There's still a little bit of a language barrier at times. He's in a meeting the other day, and Adrian Clem is talking about leverage. You got to play with leverage. You got to get leverage. And for about 3 days, he's talking about leverage. And Cheech, get some leverage. And finally, Cheech said, "Coach, what is this thing you talk about leverage?" And so I think we have to really. And I mean, it's funny, but you have to take into account that. Like today, Adrian's out there and saying, "Cheech, get wider split, wider split, wider split." I said, he might not even know what a split is. I mean, so we have to overcome that. But I think once we do, I think that kid can be really special. He's powerful. He's explosive. He's strong. There's a lot of things I like about him. And then we've got some good young talented kids coming in. But we've got some developing to do. We've got some things to take care of up there.
I know you haven't seen him, but are you expecting any of the true freshmen to come in and contribute or compete to contribute at all?
I mean, I don't know. You know what? I just, I mentioned Ellis earlier, but I don't really. If guys aren't on this field, I don't even think about them, quite frankly. I just don't. When they're over there riding the bike, I don't think about them. I worry about the guys that are playing. I don't spend a whole lot of time speculating about those guys coming in and how they're going to help us, because that doesn't help me right now. What helps us right now is just focusing on getting the guys that are on this field playing as well as they can, understanding our system as well as they can. So when they get here, we'll see. You just never know. You just never know how it's going to transfer. So hopefully, yeah, there could be some guys that step up. But to identify one or two, I'd be just shooting in the dark.
Coach, can you talk about Rice Jr. and how he's doing?
He's been hurt. He hasn't done anything in 2 weeks. So we expect him to be back out Thursday in a red jersey, which is non-contact, running some routes, doing some individual, and then we'll see where he is from there. But he really hadn't done anything for, I think, 6 practices probably.
And how does that maybe put him behind the learning curve with the other receivers?
Well, he's in meetings. And he's a smart kid, and he's paying attention, and our offense isn't really difficult to learn. Obviously, anytime you can get repetitions doing something, you get better at it. It becomes more second nature to you. But, I mean, when you miss practice, it puts you behind. But I think Jerry's the type of kid that once he gets back out there, which hopefully is full speed next week for the last couple practices, I think he'll catch up quickly. I really do. I like Jerry.
And lastly, can you talk about the family dynamic? Have you talked with Rice Sr. at all?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. I was at the 49ers when Jerry was playing there, so I know him very well. I know Jerry Jr. since he was about 5. Same with Tevin McDonald. My wife came out here a couple weeks ago, and she sees JR Jr. and Tevin. She's like, "Oh my God, you guys were like, little boys, and now my husband's coaching you, So makes me feel old, I can tell you that. But I haven't really spoken to Jerry since the bowl game. I saw him up in San Francisco. I know this, that he was one of the greatest workers that ever played any sport. He's an icon, a legend, the greatest receiver for sure, maybe one of the greatest, certainly one of the greatest football players of all time. And that's a heavy burden for a young man, to carry. But Jerry seems to handle it very, very well, and he's got his dad's work ethic and passion for the game.
Practice today. Is there any reason for that?
Yeah, there was a reason for that. The reason for that is because all good teams know how to finish. We went back and did a study of the top 12 teams in the country and how many times they had to come from behind to win or hang on to a lead when it got tight and win. And to me, it really illustrates how important finishing strong is. And when you're tired, you saw we ran some gassers before our team period as well. You know, when you hit some adversity, when you don't think you got any more to give, how you got to find it if you want to be a champion. And so, you know, in our quest to every day make it a little bit more difficult than the previous day and force them to go beyond what they feel they've ever done, we added some gassers and that you know, your Oklahoma drill to the end. So it was good. It was good.
Practice was a little shorter today. Any reason for that?
No, it's just part of the normal schedule. You know, I mean, every day is a little bit different. You know, you emphasize different things. Not really. I mean, it's just part of the overall plan.
Sure.
You know.
Did you get a chance to see film from Saturday's scrimmage?
Yes, I did.
What did you think of it? What was your impression?
My impressions after watching the film were much better than they were coming off the field. Coming off the field, I didn't feel real good about it. But I think I was influenced a lot by the fact that the second play there was a long touchdown, and then late in the scrimmage, 2 linebackers suffered, you know, head injuries. So that's kind of brings you down a little bit. When I went and looked at the film, I thought we did a lot of good things. I think we can be explosive on offense. I think we hustle around on defense. I think guys are buying in. I thought our effort was a lot better than I felt like it was on the field on Saturday, and I think we got a lot of good work done. Okay? Thanks, everybody.